good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. My name's Nicole, and this is Divinely Design Studio, and today we're here for Slow Stitching Saturday. We are still working on my little Christmas table runner. I've been using this project for my weekly videos, and so we're just going to work our way through it until it's done, and I'm just going to check that the audio is working fine. So you might hear a bit of an echo, so I do apologize for that. Yep, that is working. So I can leave that over there and I can stop that now and all that sort of stuff. So today we're going to put our first border on, which is absolutely fabulous, which means we're getting closer to finishing this off. I have two borders to put on. So I am just currently joining all of the pieces together. And for those that haven't been here before, this entire piece is getting done by hand. The only thing that I won't be doing by hand is putting the binding on, but I will hand stitch it on the back. Just because I don't want to damage my fingers trying to get through all the layers. I think I can do it, and I might even try it and give it a go. But yeah, everything else is going to be done by hand. So yeah. All right, let us know where you're watching from today, because we always like to see where we're watching from. And yeah, let us know if you're working on anything today as well. My day is really booked up today. So after this live stream, I will be heading over to my booktube, where we're doing a 24-hour sprint. Neva, the young girl that hangs out with me on Fridays on my booktube channel, does a 24-hour sprint, and 6 channels are generally involved. And I'm the second channel off the ranks. So once I'm finished here, I'll be heading over there and talking all things books and having a good old time, because it's always a good time when we're over there live and whatnot. So yeah, if that's something you're interested in, you can always come across and check out Dusty Book Sniffers. Shameless plug there for my own channel, but anyway, you know how it is. So today is obviously Saturday, because we are here for Slow Stitching Saturday. I have not done anything on this except for what I do on camera. So this entire thing. So basically what you will see is I think I did about half an hour on these trees off camera, if I remember correctly. But this entire series will give you an idea of how long it actually takes to do something by hand. Because as I said, everything is being done by hand. All the little Christmas trees have been sewn on by hand, and now we're doing the borders. So right now I've drawn a diagonal line, and I'm doing a back stitch to mimic what a sewing machine looks like, and whatnot. So yeah. All right, let's have a look and see who is here this morning. We have Gail has joined us this morning. Good morning, Gail. How are you? How are you feeling today, hun? I hope you're feeling a bit better. I know that you have been under the weather this week, so hopefully you're feeling better. And oh my goodness, Jenny, are you watching us from Colombia? Oh my goodness. Thank you for joining. I appreciate that. It's got CO after it, so I'm assuming that you're still in Colombia. I can't remember what time when you told me you were coming back. So, oh my goodness. And Gail is making an ATC card this morning. So this is a little, correct me if I'm wrong, Gail, this is a little cross-stitch swapping card that you're doing, and you're doing this with Laura from, is it Stitching by the Shore, her channel? Oh, stab myself with the with the needle. I was not off to a good start. Not off to a good start. Yes, hola, how are you? From Bogota. No, wow. Thank you for joining in. That's so sweet of you. Thank you. So that is awesome. So Gail and Jenny are friends of mine. We hang out quite a bit, and we try to meet up at least once a year, and in real life. And Jenny is over in Colombia because her son just got married. So yeah, so a lot of celebrations happening over there at the moment, which is absolutely fabulous. And yes, it is a cross stitch card swap thing. All right, awesome. We're beginning our long journey home in 14 hours. Looking forward to returning to my stitching when I get home. That is always it's always nice to get away, but it's so lovely to just come back home and have all your familiar things around you, and you can just get back into your routine and whatnot. That's always a nice feeling. That I do love to travel, but there's nothing like coming home, right? I'm glad that you've had a really good time. So I have seen a couple of pictures and stuff like that. Looks like a stunning place where you were. And the celebrations looked absolutely fabulous as well. So, yeah. All right, let me just snip this off and we'll pop this over here. Take that out. And there we go. We have joined our little strip on there because it wasn't quite enough. So, yeah. All right, let me just snip this off. So I'm just going to eyeball it. I pretty much know what a 1/4 inch looks like these days. So, yeah. So we can just take our little bits off. And sometimes I will save these little ones because sometimes I work with tiny, tiny, tiny little hexagons. If not, I just chuck them in a scrap bag and then they go off to charity and they use them for paper piecing and all the rest of it. It is disgustingly hot here in Kingaroy already. I'm sitting here. I've got the fan on. I've got the air conditioning on and I'm still sweating. It's just not right. It's just not right. Anyway. All right, let's have another look and see who is here as well. We've got Deborah. Hello, Deborah from North Carolina. Sorry, don't know why I said South, USA. So welcome. It's Friday evening for you right now, and we've also got Leanne from Stitchy Moon Crafts here as well. Thank you for joining. Leanne's at Irish Dancing this morning. So yeah, good luck to. Is it competition or just Irish dance? Just stuff. Okay. Let me just have a look here. All right. Going to, just so I know where I'm going to be stitching, I am going to place my 1/4 inch ruler on here, the mark of my ruler, and I'm just going to draw a line. And that's just going to act as my guide as I'm stitching along because I don't want it to be crooked. So that's how, for those that are new here, that's how I mark it all out. It's quite cathartic doing this. Even though I'm not a fan of, doing everything by hand, this is probably the first piece that I've completely done by hand. And I am actually really enjoying it. So it's a project that I can take with me. Not that I go anywhere, but, I'm always working here. So, but, I can just pick up the container and I can toddle off if I'm heading out of the house or anything like that. So it's always a good little project to take. Who else have we got? We've also got Judy. Hey, Judy, how you going? Working on my BAPS as usual from Melbourne. Awesome. And Jenny says it's been fabulous. We've had a blast. You look like you're having a really good time. We also have stitching with a corgi here as well. Good morning and welcome. Susan has also joined us as well. Hello, Susan. Thank you very much for joining. And we've also got Pam Connolly from Phoenix, Arizona in the US. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Leanne's daughter does Irish dancing and she takes the toddlers now for an hour and then a lesson after that and set up to watch and stitch for the next 3 hours. Awesome. Sounds like a lovely morning indeed. I used to always like a good dance session where everything was happening all the time and you could just settle in, and especially exam season, because Nera used to do a lot of dances and I think she'd done 7 all up. So exam time was always hectic. And I had a little hatchback at the time. So I'd put the back seats down, throw in a couple of quilts, a couple of pillows, throw in my stitching, settle in down the parking lot. And I'd just stitch the day away basically. Now, I'm not real happy with that. That must have been a odd an odd piece because that is not wide enough. So I am going to take that off and get a better piece because that is not lining up properly. And I'm not happy with that. So I'm going to unpick it. And I'll get started on the border because I can always just add that bit on a little bit later. This obviously, I thought it was a 2.5 inch strip. Obviously it wasn't because it's short. Let me just get this undone. Just shows you, like, it's not like a sewing machine where you can unpick a couple. Actually have to unpick the whole lot when you stitch it by hand. All right. Okay, that obviously, yeah, that's a bit, looks like, yeah, it was a bit short. All right, I'll have to find another piece for that. That's fine. But for now, we will get started on the border because I'm guessing I won't get the whole border done in an hour. Maybe. We'll see how we go. If I have to add a piece on a bit later, that's fine. All right. And so just like with everything else, I just line it up and then we're going to have a little border. And I'll pop a couple of pins in just to hold it in place. So it doesn't move on me, making sure my raw edges are all lining up. I'll tell you what though, this, I don't know where, I got this in a fat quarter pack, I think. And it frays like nothing else, this fabric. So yeah, it's a bit frustrating at times, but and when I'm doing this, I don't actually like to really press my seams open. I do on the diagonal, so I do my stitches a little bit smaller. But as for the sashing and stuff like that, I just I have just left that to go where it's happy, which is to the dark side in this case. So I had a pretty long night last night. I haven't had much sleep because I was on party bus detail last night. And all the kidlets were having a great time. And, yeah, you know, this whole border, could probably take a little bit off each end. This border is probably about 1/2 inch too short down the other end. So that's why I've got to add a piece on. Anyway, as they say, it doesn't matter. All right, that'll do for pins right now because otherwise I'm going to stab myself and that's never going to be pretty. So let's turn that around. And then I'll just get my needle and thread back here. So it's already over 30 degrees here today. So it's feeling very stormish out there right now. So I'm guessing we're going to get a storm at some stage today. I haven't checked the bureau, but it's possible. It's possible. All right. I'll tell you, this is really hard to do on the table on camera. I'm always so awkward. So I'm just getting it started. And yeah. Just bear with me for a sec. I'm just getting it all ordered and yeah. Just making sure that that is actually lining up properly. Yep. Cool. Awesome. Awesome. It's all ready to go. So what has been happening in the world of Nicole? Not a great deal. I have just been getting all my ducks in a row. I've taken a little bit of time off filming because I had such a hectic, a very, very hectic December, and I got to January and I just hit a wall. So I took a little bit of time off filming. Last week I didn't film a floss tube because I just didn't get time to do much stitching and I had only stitched on one thing. So I was like, that's not going to be very exciting. So I just thought, you know what, I'll just miss this week. And I did say that at the beginning of the year that I was going to endeavor to do it weekly. But sometimes it'll be fortnightly. So yeah. and plus I've had the as you would have, if you're a cross stitcher, you would know that the flag sale started yesterday for the flags of the world, and that is the 2024 Quaker flag sale. The lovely designer from Vistas, is it? Is how you pronounce it? Vistas. So Vivian joined us yesterday on a Zoom meeting, and so everybody that turned up for that got to meet the lovely Vivian, and I met some other lovely people as well, which was fabulous, and a couple of floss tubers as well that I haven't stitched with before, so that was nice. One of them was the floss tube stitcher, Carolyn. She was lovely, so I got to meet her for the first time, and also Laura from Stitching by the Shore was there as well, and of course we had the lovely Gail was also there as well. So yeah, it was a great morning. I of course double booked myself. Yeah, it's Vivsters, isn't it? Is how you pronounce it. I don't know how to pronounce it, so I'll have to ask Vivian when I talk to her next. So it was a fabulous day. We got to meet some lovely people, and yeah, it was great. I had to duck off after about 3 hours, but because I was, as I said, I was double booked, and I believe they continued to stitch for about another hour after I left. So yeah, so it was a nice day and whatnot, and of course we do have our next meeting coming up as well. So it is by invite only. So if you are doing the flag sale and you haven't filled out the form yet, yeah, make sure you do that. And yeah, so it's going to be a lot of fun to see the flags. I mean, Instagram's all right. Well, I don't know about anybody else's Instagram, but I can probably speak for Gail too. Our Instagrams have been flooded. It looks like the United Nations on our Instagrams at the moment, because we ended up with I think Gail will correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I'm pretty sure we ended up with 58 flags, and there are another 3 that are actually being designed that people have asked for in the last 24 hours. So yeah. So Viv has been very gracious in accommodating all the flags and doing all the things for all the people, which has been absolutely fabulous. So yeah. Hello, Allegra. How are you? Thank you for joining. Last night's sale was nice. Allegra was one of the lovelies that I met yesterday. So yeah, it was so good to catch up with everybody. So thank you for joining. I really appreciate you being here. And this is how the word looks, but I always trip over it. Always Vivistas, I think it is. Yeah, so I think that's how you say it. I am going to have to ask Vivian when I say how to say it, because I don't know. I trip over it all the time. So yeah. But it was a lovely evening and day, because we had people from all over the world. We had about 11, I think it was at one stage we had that popped in for the start of the sale. And because it was very late for the for Europe and the UK, so it was even more special that Viv showed up, because I think it was and also Ligra as well, because Ligra's from Latvia, which that would have been about 1 o'clock in the morning, I think, when it started, and then it was like 11 o'clock when in the UK. So don't quote me on that, because time zones evidently after yesterday was not my friend after yeah, double book. I actually triple booked myself, because I was supposed to be on, I did a readathon called the Bootcamp Readathon over on BookTube this month, and they had their wrap up yesterday, and for some reason I thought it was this morning, early this morning. Like I thought it was like 6 or 7 o'clock this morning, and I thought, yep, I'll be good, because I can do that, then I can leave, come over here, do this, and then I can go and help go and do the 24-hour sprint one. And no, it all fell on the Friday. So yeah, and I'm like, oh no. So I had to drop that. I was so disappointed because I've been doing the readathon with them, but Courtney totally understood that that was the situation. There was quite a number of people that couldn't turn up because it was on a Friday and it was on a Thursday evening rather, and a lot of people had work commitments and stuff like that. So a few people couldn't turn up. So I didn't feel so bad, but I still felt terrible because I said yes, and then I had to renege on it. But the stitching was absolutely fabulous. It was nice to just sit down and cruise and do a little bit of stitching and a little bit of chatting and all that sort of stuff. And then I went over to my booktube after that, and then I was online for the rest of the day. So it's fun and games, and that's always a fun time. Until you start getting tired, then it starts to go a little bit off the rails. You can't read comments real well and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's it's a lot of fun though. Let's have a look at what other comments are popping in. Gail saying hello. I'm doing good, preparing to stitch the flag again. Awesome. And I was spot on with the time zones. Oh wow, there you go. I'm telling you now, you might want to document that because that is a rarity with me. I'm always because a lot of time I'm on US time with sprints and stuff like that with the people that I collab with. I'm forever going, is this right? And now I just get giggles back because if I get it right, it's like woo! Celebration, lots of emojis and all the rest of it, and get lots of giggles. So yeah, time zones are not my friends at times. So yeah, but it's always very interesting to see who's on and what time it is in their neck of the woods and all that sort of stuff. It's always a fun time meeting people from all over the world. That's a lot of fun. So I'm a little bit weary today. I am planning on stitching more on the flag today. I also, because I didn't stitch last night because I was on party bus detail. So I pretty much got online at 8:30 yesterday morning, and then, as I said, I started the sprints over on my booktube channel. Then I went and done the stitching. Then I went back to the booktube channel, and then I was hanging out with my peeps last night. So I didn't end up getting off line until I think it was 10:30 last night, Queensland time, and basically then I was driving people around to different parties and stuff like that, so they didn't have to catch cabs and all that sort of stuff. So I didn't get to sleep because I was waiting for them to ring again because they were going to be on the move again to somewhere else at a particular time. And it was a group of young girls, and I wasn't having them walking around town and all that sort of stuff at that hour. And so I was on party bus detail last night, and so 3 o'clock this morning I ended up going to sleep. And then my alarm went off at 7 o'clock, and I'm like, really? Is it already 7 o'clock? But yeah, so I'm a little bit worse for wear today, but it's all good. I'm planning on sitting down and doing a lot of stitching on the flag and a few other ones today as well. Jenny is heading off for dinner. Awesome. It was good to see you here too. Thank you for popping in, especially on your holiday. Like, I did not expect to see you in the comments, Jenny. Have a safe journey home, and we'll check in with you when you over your jet lag and all the rest of it. So safe journeys, and we'll see you soon. And enjoy your last dinner in Bogota. So yeah, go you. Like, I'm so jealous. So jealous. I'm doing the glass swap at the moment. So to read the comments, I've got to put my reading glasses on, and then I've got my magnifiers on to do this and whatnot. So I've actually been really enjoying just doing this all by hand. As I said, I've done everything with this so far by hand. I'm also going to quilt it by hand as well. And it's just going to be interesting to see how many videos, because we generally just stay on for an hour. I get as much as I can done in an hour. And I've just been doing this on camera. And yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see, because that essentially is my hour log. Of course, I am talking while I'm doing it, and that, so you could safely take, overall probably 2 hours off the entire make, maybe an hour and a half, because as you see, I do put down the needle and thread every now and again to read comments and stuff like that. So yeah, so you could safely take a couple of hours off overall, but it gives you a rough idea. I don't know, this year is about me slowing down on that, and I know that some of my friends in the comments right now will be going, finally the girl is taking a breather on that. Does that mean I'm going to stop making as much? Probably not, but it just means that I'm going to take the time to do more handwork and just slowing down a bit, because I mean, it is slowing me down. Like, like I've still got this whip on the go, but I'm not eager to go and start anything else. I'm really keen to just try and get some whips finished and stuff like that. So when I say slow down, I mean slow down in my starting of sewing whips and all that sort of stuff. So that's what I'm talking about there. And and the more I think about it, the more I really like the sound of that. So I have made, like, what you see right now is probably the cleanest part of my studio right now, because I have been pulling out stuff left, right, and center, and trying to work out a bit of a game plan. Although I am back to full-on work this coming week. So I really have to get that all sorted. Monday is my day. And then from the 1st of February, I'll be back into full-on filming and all that sort of stuff. And I just needed some coffee there. I think I need to have a drip of coffee today, to be honest. I can see a nana nap coming on this afternoon. And it probably won't be just a nap. It'll probably be a full-on 3 hours sleep. Oh, dear me. But yeah, so I am I'm tired. What can I say? I'm really looking forward to getting all of my whips together and getting them sorted and whatnot. And like, when I look at them, I just go, why haven't you finished this? Like, there's been a couple that, like, quilting stuff, I can understand why my quilting, like where I've had to quilt the quilts, hasn't been done, because customers' quilts come first, because that's my job, right? So that's just a hazard of being a quilter, and also a long arm quilter, a professional long arm quilter. So that's just the drawbacks. It's like the mechanic's car is never spot on, or the plumber's always got a leaking tap in their house and stuff like that, and or the cupboard's still hanging off from the handyman and in his own house, because everybody else's stuff comes first. But this year, when I sat down and I was thinking about what my goals were and what I wanted to achieve for the year and all that sort of stuff, my main focus was to get my whips done, to slow down a little bit, to try some new things, but not make them a priority. So if I get to them this year, I get to them. If I don't, I don't. To try and just get a lot of stuff that I've got sitting here is actually my whips. So I've gone through a couple of boxes where I've got step throughs and stuff like that. I don't have many of them left, so I'll finish them off. They're nice and easy. A step through, for what people don't know, I used to teach outside of the studio, not just on YouTube. And I used to have step throughs for classes and that. So that is each step in the project that you're making, you have a step. So you make that step, so you've got a sample of what it is, because when you're doing a class, you're not actually sewing. So you need to have those pre-done. I pretty much got all of those done. There's probably 1 or 2 bags that I will probably leave as step throughs, because they are also a bag that I often run as a workshop anyway. So that's sort of that. The step throughs are done now. Pretty much all I've got is my own personal whips. So I am trying to get them down, and that's sort of where I'm going to go with that. Excuse me, my voice has got a bit croaky this morning. We've also had Susan join us from Northumberland, England. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you being here. We are a little bit of a United Nations here today as well. So, and thank you for the lovely comment too. Thank you. I really do appreciate that. I love it when I get a nice comment and about my work and stuff like that. You know, as crafters, we love to hear compliments about our stuff we're making, don't we? So it's nice when someone pops in and just shares the love. So welcome, Susan. Thank you very much for joining. I hope you're having a lovely evening. And what are you working on today? Let us know in the comments. We're always interested to see what other people are working on. We've got some people stitching the flag for the flag sale that's happening. And we've also got Gail is making some swap cards with cross stitch. And we've got Judy who is working on her BAPS at the moment, and which is an extremely large project for those that aren't cross stitches, but it has a bit of a rude term to it, so I'm not going to say that here today. But yeah, we always like to know what everybody's working on. So yeah, so that is sort of the plan that I have right now. Is I'm trying to get all of, and I didn't realize that I had so many whips going on that were so close to completion, and they just need to get done. Like I do struggle though. I think I've talked about this before. I love making things, and I get involved in making the project and all the rest of it, and then I get to a certain point and I don't want to finish it because I'm so happy with how it's turned out and all that sort of stuff, and I just don't want to finish it, and so I put it aside so I can keep working on it, but then I don't work on it. I don't know. I don't know what that's about. But anyway, I'm trying to change that. I've got a couple of cross stitches that will get finished this year that have been hanging around too long. Of course, I've had a couple of starts as well, but I won't be starting too much more. I think I've got one more start in October, and that's it. Actually, two more starts in October, because I'm going to start the Australian Aboriginal flag on my granddaughter's birthday. So yeah, so basically that's where we're at with that. And I may not start it this year. I may actually put it off until the following year, just because I want to get a lot of stuff finished this year. So yeah, so what you can see going forward on the channel is because these are super sharp scissors, not so these have been around for years, these things. I thought I'd got rid of them, but like they've got thread stuck in them and all sorts of stuff. But what did I do with my needle? Can anybody see it? Do I stick it over here? Oh yeah, there it is. I normally stick it on my little needle minder, and I didn't that time. Yeah, so I as I said, I want to finish some stuff and all that, get all that done. And as I said, I've also got some cross stitch stuff that I want to get finished as well. Not necessarily FFO'd, but darn close to it. Because it's just, I've got a box where I can put that, and that's keeping that pretty contained. But the quilt whips and the sewing whips and all those things, they just need to get sorted big time. So I think when I checked last, I had about 8 quilts. About 8 quilts all up that I need to get finished this year. That includes the ones that need quilting as well. So it's not too bad. It's not too bad. One of the projects was a mystery quilt, or a block of the month, from the Fat Quarter Shop, and I didn't get the finishing kit with it, so I've had to readjust that. I think I know what I'm going to do with that now, and that has been a bit of a roadblock for me, so I think I know where I'm going to go with that. But I'm just, because there's not going to be like tutorials or anything like that, I'm just going to sort of, when I pull it out, I'll just film a little bit, and I'll just splice some bits and pieces together, and then put it up as a little, behind the scenes vlog or something along those lines. So let me just see. Leanne is working on Ragnarok. How's that going? Like, you made a killing on that in November. I remember that. in the beginning of December. Susan is currently sitting up in bed as it's 11:36 and working on a Linus quilt for charity. I love the fabric. Awesome. I used to, there was, as a lady, she stopped doing it now because of a hand injury. She damaged, I don't remember whether she damaged something in both her thumbs. I think she fell and she damaged something in here, and so it's hard for her to sew and stuff now, and she's not doing it anymore, because I used to give her all my scraps on my from my, because a lot of people, they get their stuff and then they get their stuff quilted, but they don't want the scraps left from their backing and stuff. And sometimes you can have down the bottom, you can have 6 or 10 inches of fabric, of backing fabric. So I used to just put it all in to a bag, and then I'd send her a message and say, hey, if you're over in Kinga, come and pick it up and whatnot. And she'd come pick it up. We'd fill a bit, and then like leftover wadding and stuff like that, she could also use. She'd piece it all together for the quilts. And so that way there was no like waste or anything. And she was going to pass my number on to them, but they've never contacted me. So now I just put all the scraps into a bag and I take it down to Vinnie's, and then they send it off to either, like, they'll go through it and put different things in different piles and stuff like that. And Vinnie's is like a secondhand shop for those that don't know. And basically, yeah, they just sort it out themselves then. So I do that once every couple of months now. And whatnot. I've never been one to like sell my scraps or anything like that. I just think that charity can use them. There's lots of charity groups out there that make quilts and stuff like that. That lady was pretty good at taking my scraps too from patchworking and stuff, because she used to do a lot of foundation paper piecing, so she could use like the tiniest little bits of scrap. So I'd have bags and bags of this sort of stuff for her. I don't have as much of that stuff anymore because I don't do classes or anything like that, because I used to have the bins in the center of the table, and the ladies that were here doing any sort of quilting or anything like that, they used to just put their scraps in there as well. So I'd have bags of the stuff by the time she come and see me. So yeah. Also, what have we got here? Watching you has made me start making my first quilt. Oh, and it's not going well. What problems are you having? Let us know, and I'm sure the collective here will be able to help you. And just remember, it's your first quilt, and sometimes first quilts don't go well. Okay. And that is okay as well, because you know what? The more you do, the better you will get at it, and you will be able to see your journey from where you started to where you are now. I look at my first quilt and, oh my goodness, there's the seams or you can see the seams on the back. Some of the seams weren't stitched together properly, and they've come apart and all that sort of stuff. So like, and I have only been quilting for it'll be 14 years now. So there are many women out there that have been quilting all their life and whatnot. So yeah, so don't be too hard on yourself. You know, we all have to start somewhere, and I guarantee you're going to absolutely love that quilt no matter what. Okay. And Gail saying that my first quilt looks like a dog's breakfast. You and me both, hon. You and me both. And that. But Gail, do you still love that quilt? Because it was your first quilt, right? You still love it. You look at it and you've got fond memories. That was the first time I made a quilt. So yeah, I cannot cut fabric straight, so it's not lining up. Okay, so have you heard? So when you say you can't cut the fabric straight, your rulers are moving on you when you're cutting. Are you using a pair of scissors, or are you using a rotary cutter? Because I had a lady that couldn't put pressure on the ruler and to use the rotary cutter. So I suggested to her that she'd get a little ruler, little lead pencil, and draw a 1/4 inch. So just like I've done here as I'm sewing, draw the 1/4 inch draw a line where you want to cut. It doesn't even have to be a 1/4 inch. I just say 1/4 inch because I'm always in 1/4 inch. So you just get a ruler and measure it where you've got to make the cut, and basically draw the line, and then use some scissors and just take it nice and slow. So if you're having trouble with your ruler and stuff, so especially long cuts is where you'll go wrong a lot of the time. Shorter cuts are a little bit easier, but you can, if you're having trouble with the ruler and it's moving, because that's usually the problem, it's kicking out on you, you can get like little sticky, grippy pads. They're like a little bit of, they almost feel like sandpaper is the best way to describe it. And you can stick them onto your ruler, and that will stop it from sliding on the fabric. Okay, and that will help you to put some pressure. Also, another suggestion I can give you as well, especially for long cuts and whatnot, go down to your local, you're in the US, so maybe Walmart or somewhere like that, go down, and in their gym section, so their fitness section, they might have some hand weights there. Get yourself a couple of different weights in your in the little hand weights. Okay, they're usually like a bright pink or a bright yellow or something along those lines. And here they start at about 2.5 kilos, which I think is a pound, and then they work their way up. But if you get the a couple of pounds, so 2 pound or something like that, and sit that on. Alternatively, you can get a bag of flour, wrap that in some plastic, and sit. That'll do the same thing if you aren't able to get to somewhere to buy some weights. The weights are good because you don't have to wrap them in plastic or anything. They're not a food stuff or anything like that. You can just store them, and they sit there and they hold the top part of your ruler while you put pressure down here. So yeah, and there are many, like if you're having problems with your rotary cutter, there are many rotary cutters on the market. You might need to get something that is a little bit user-friendly instead of the straight one. You might need to get one that you sort of hold over the top. There's a couple of those sort of ones there. But if you do a search for rotary cutters on Amazon, all the different ones will come up, and have a look there and see what you can find. But I think they're called ruler grips. If you look on Amazon for ruler grips, I think you'll find them on there. I don't have my keyboard in front of me right now, so my computer's way over there. I find that the fabric shifts no matter the pressure I apply on the ruler, and my fabric barely fray badly afterwards. Okay, so some fabrics will fray. Like you are going to get fraying from fabrics. I'm having that issue here right now. Okay, but you just like, don't take this the wrong way, but where are you buying your fabrics from? Because if you're buying your fabrics from places like Joann's or Michael's, they aren't as nice. They're still nice fabrics. Don't get me wrong. They're still nice fabrics, but they're on the cheaper end. That's why you're paying the cheaper prices. If you pay a little bit more, so if you get your fabric, say like from the Fat Quarter shop, so from Moda, like Moda Fabrics. Okay, so you're here in Australia. Okay, so yes, Spotlight fabrics are not the best. Right now, I'm using a Spotlight fabric. It is not the best. This fabric here that you can see here, this white fabric, this is a high quality quilting fabric. It's a backing fabric, and you can see it's hardly fraying at all. Okay, all these fabrics here were Moda. So depending on what your situation is, if Spotlight's the only place that you can shop from, when you're in Spotlight, have a look at the fabric because they're cut. Okay, they've got a cut edge. Have a look how much it's fraying. If you're just using their Primer, I think is Primer is their plain fabrics, they fray like nothing else. I hate using them. And I don't need, I can also tell you when a quilt comes in if they've used those fabrics, because guaranteed they will have a lot of fraying. And when you touch them, it's just like they're falling apart. So yeah, so when you're in Spotlight, excuse me, just touch the fabric, have a look at the cut edge, and have a look how much it's fraying. They do have some quality fabrics in there, but they are the more expensive fabrics that are in Spotlight. Your cheaper fabrics are like your Joann's and your Michaels. They're cheaper. They are usually the same fabrics and the same brand that you get from Joann's and Michaels in the US. But my recommendation is go for the bit better quality fabric by just checking it and paying just that little bit more. And you'll probably find that that won't be an issue as much. You're still going to get fraying. Anything that's in a fat quarter pack, they're going to fray like nothing else. That's what this is out of, and that's why I'm sort of very minimally trying not to touch it too much, because it is fraying. Like you can see there, it's just pulling off. The more I touch it, the more it comes off. And yeah, so I'm trying to, even though I'm doing this by hand, I'm trying to not do it too much. So, and if your fabric is shifting and all that sort of stuff, get some washi tape. Okay, I've suggested this to people as well. You get some washi tape. So say this is your fabric that you're about to cut. Okay, you're going to cut this side here. Put a little bit of washi tape up here and a little bit of washi tape down the bottom, and then put your ruler on, and then you'll be able to cut, and your fabric will not shift this way or anything like that. But I definitely would be touchy-feely with your fabrics when you go to Spotlight. And the washi tape one is key as well. It makes all the difference. It really does. It really does. So yeah, try a few of those. Short of that, if you're still struggling with the ruler and the rotary cutter method, you can always go back to basics. Get a nice pair of scissors and sit down, put up a couple of YouTube, gear up a couple of YouTube videos, live streams, whatever the case may be. Sit down, relax, have your ruler, your pencil, mark everything out, and you're cutting on that line. And you might find that you'll actually enjoy it being relaxed. It'll take that stress out of it for you and all that sort of stuff. And it doesn't matter if it's got a little bit of a wiggle or whatever, as long as it joins up okay. And then basically you'll be able to stitch that with your sewing machine and all that sort of stuff. Sometimes it's really good, and this is advice that was given to me. A lovely lady named Evelyn. She was about 90. Or 88, something around that mark, about 10 years ago. And the advice she gave to me, never be afraid to go back to basics. Sometimes going back to basics is what you need, what your mind needs, what your body needs, and all that sort of stuff. So sometimes it's okay to go back to basics and whatnot, and just slow down and all that sort of stuff. I thought that was such great advice, and I often do that. I've even said that to my kids. Just go back to basics. Go back, break it down, go back to the basic way it used to be done, and see how you go. And whatnot. And you're welcome. You're welcome. Anytime you've got any questions, if I can answer it or I can give you some tips and tricks, I'm more than happy to do that. So yeah, you're more than welcome to pop in and just ask a question. I know sometimes it's hard when you see a video and you leave a question and all that sort of stuff. It's hard to get in words sometimes what you want, but on a live stream, you can ask those questions, and then I can, counter ask a question, and then we can get to where we need to be and get you the advice and the solutions that you might need. Sometimes I might not have the solutions though, because I don't know everything, but I do try to keep my tips and tricks and everything up to date so I can help people out and whatnot. So yeah. All right, let's get back to this. So yeah, so back to just me with the filming and stuff like that. I'm going to do a lot of behind the scenes stuff, and so that I don't think that they'll be coming out weekly. I think that they're going to be a monthly thing, and of course they will go to Patreon first, because I do have a Patreon where we have several tiers there. And of course, when you join, you do get access to that tier and everything that's come before that. So be sure to check that out as well. And we have the magazine on the first tier, and the behind the scenes stuff happens on that tier. And then we've just got extra bonus stuff happening on the other tiers and whatnot. So there is going to be a little post going up a bit later on Patreon. Just some things I are going to be doing this year. Just a little bit of an information post for my Patreon members that are here right now. So yeah, that's that'll probably go up on Monday. I do have a recent reads that is going up as well, which is, for those that don't know, that is, I read some advanced reader copies. And then once the book has come out, I generally put the review up, so at least then you can go and buy it and whatnot. But my eczema has been playing up so bad on my thumb this week. I don't know what it is. It's so itchy, and I'm trying not to. It's healing up, but it's still a bit sore. Yeah, so I'll put that up, and I've got actually several that have been released, and the second one of them actually has part 2 coming out very soon. And they were a bit of a fun time read. So I just do a little bit of a book review for recent reads. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy doing it because I love reading. And yeah, I've got I think 2 that I've got to finish. No, 3 that I have to finish by the second week of February and get those reviewed, because they are coming out in March, I want to say. Maybe not, I can't remember. But anyway, something around that mark. And yeah, one is a historical fiction. One I haven't started yet, so I'm not 100% sure what that is. And one is a thriller. So in the thriller genre, because I read across multiple genres and whatnot. Right, I better keep an eye on the time because I do have to be somewhere else. What do we got? We're at 56 minutes, so that's okay. I've still got a little bit of time. Hopping all over the internet today. But as you can see, the border is going on nicely. It's looking lovely. I love it. I think this was the perfect choice for this. It's just making those little Christmas trees pop. And this is going to be a table runner. For those that don't know what I'm actually making, I probably should have said that at the beginning, right? This is a table runner. So we've got the Christmas trees going alternate ways. So it doesn't matter which way you look at it. You've got a tree that's up the right way. So yeah, and then basically I'm going to do a big stitch quilting around, which I haven't done a lot of that. So I'll be using Pearl 8 for that. And I'm thinking I'm just going to do it in red. And I'm just going to do it about a 1/4 inch away from the Christmas trees. And then I'll probably just do a couple lines of, and essentially it looks like running stitch when you do it. It's a couple of lines of running stitch in a white, so down either side, just to anchor everything down. And I'm going to use a fusible fleece, so I don't have to do as much quilting on it. Because I want to keep it simple, because I want these to be the feature of it, of the table runner. So yeah, so that is the plan. So at least now you know where the plan is going and whatnot. And of course, we're just going to keep working on this until it's done, and having a bit of a chit chat every Saturday. So make sure that you tune in every week, and then you'll be able to see the progress of it. Bring your project with you. Today, sometimes I can stay here for a couple of hours. So today, though, because I have committed to another live stream, I have to not be on here for as long today. So yeah. And I'm super excited too. I hit 800 subscribers overnight on my BookTube channel. So that was very exciting to see that this morning. I'm like, oh. So yeah. Not that it really matters. It's just a place for me to talk about books. And yeah, so it's just a place for me to talk about books. But it's exciting that, like, I've hit. I honestly, I didn't even think I was going to get to 100, to be honest. It was just a place where I could hang out with some bookish friends and, you know, have a great time and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, I never thought for a moment that I would end up with 800 subscribers. That just blew my mind. The same as here. Like, I think I'm at 30. I don't even really check the numbers anymore. I'm at 32,000, I think I'm at, or 31,000, something like that on this channel as well. So, and that spins me out as well. Like, oh my goodness. It's so surreal. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just, It's so weird. No. And, the reason I started this channel was, to share my passion for, for crafting and all that sort of stuff. And also to, share my knowledge and all that sort of stuff, and build a community and whatnot. So, yeah, it's always a nice feeling to meet someone new in the comments, and get to know them a bit better, find out what their crafting stuff is, and what they love the most. Because I do a lot of different crafts. The only one I don't really do is paper crafts, but I do dabble from time to time. Like I do a little bit of journaling here and there. Not that I could draw to save my life. Like I use my printer and like I type headings out and turn them into like little headings and stuff like that. This girl can't draw. That I'm just saying, this girl can't draw at all. So thank you very much, Gail. I appreciate that. Yes, don't forget to like the live stream. The more likes, the more comments, the more I get seen. So yeah, and hello, Sean. How are you today? Or good evening for you. It'll be getting late for you, wouldn't it? It'd be about, oh no, it'll be about 8 o'clock now, wouldn't it? Where you are? So yeah. Thanks for joining and coming in and saying g'day. That's always nice to see you pop up. And yeah, so I've just put they're on my head. I had one of those moments. So yeah, now what I need to decide is what whip I'm going to pull out first to do. 7 p.m. Friday. Yeah, I thought it was about that. Oh yeah, 7 p.m. Yeah, because I'm going to be on my booktube at 8 o'clock. So yeah, your time. 11 o'clock my time. So yeah, good to know. So yeah, so I've now got to decide what whip. Like I know that this is getting done on Saturdays. So yeah, and I've got a couple of days where I'm not doing, like I'm trying to get all of my filming done on the first 2 days of the week. Sometimes that doesn't go to plan. So yeah, it just doesn't go to plan. And so it'll be the next day or whatever. But I'm trying to structure my week a little bit better and get some more crafting time in, because I noticed at the end of last year I didn't really get a lot of time to craft. That was towards the end, so nothing really happened with my whips or anything like that. So this year I think that I'm just going to maybe write them all down on a piece of paper or put them on a wheel or something like that and spin the wheel and just go from there and see how I go with that, and and then just work on that until it's finished. So that's why I was saying, like, the vlogs and whatnot probably won't be weekly, because some of them I've got a fair chunk of stuff to do. So I've got there are a couple of things that, like, I'm just sitting here looking at my whip stack. There are a couple of things that are going to take a hell of a lot longer to do. So they will just begin in the rotation. So there's a couple of English paper piecing ones up there. But I also have one that I have pulled the fabric out and unraveled it and all that sort of stuff that came in the spooky box from the Fat Quarter Shop. So that is actually in a whip box. So that to me, I have started. So, like, even though I haven't cut any fabric or anything like that, I'm just going to treat it as a whip and put it on the whip wheel. There's one there from like 2014. Like, girl, what are you doing? Just get it finished. The row by row has to have the final border. The first row by row that I did has to have the borders on it, and yeah, like, it just needs borders. Girl, what are you doing? Just finish it. Like, so I think there may be a couple of blocks that I have to do for the bottom row. So yeah, so I've got to finish that off. It's like, oh my goodness. And then, once I'm finished it, I'll be able to put the pattern together and all that sort of stuff, and yeah, and then get that up on the site and whatnot. And it's just, yeah, just procrastination, like hardcore. There's just so many bright sparkly things that I want to do. What can I say? All right, we have hit the hour mark, and I still have to get myself ready for the other live stream that I'm doing over on my BookTube channel. So if you're looking for something to do today, that is a little bit different. We chat for a little bit, and then we read or stitch or sew or whatever. A lot of people use it for different things. You're more than welcome to come over and join. To comment over there, though, you will have to be a subscriber, so just bear that in mind. This is an event that a girl that I hang out with a fair bit, Neva, and it's her 24-hour sprints, and I'm the second leg of the 24 hours. So, yeah. All right, I'm going to keep doing that, and I'm going to have to find a piece to add onto this. That was 2.5 inches, so I'm going to have to measure and make sure. But as you can see, that is going on very nicely. It's going to look very cute once I get the other border on. And this is for my coffee table. This is actually for me. It's not for anybody else. It's actually for me. I had this. Here are the hexagons that I made them out of a Kate Spade fabric. I don't know where my little thing is now, but it was Kate Spade fabric. And I had enough to do. It was just, you know, your little charm packs. So yeah, so I found this other one after the fact. So I may end up making another one of these, getting a different border and having 2 different ones, because I've got a coffee table, and then I've also got like a buffet where I could sit this on at Christmas time. So I've got that one there. I'll see how we go with that. But yeah, so basically I've just got the other border on, and we're just going to keep plodding along with it. But you can see it goes on nicely. I like the fact that I'm doing it by hand. This whole thing's going to be done by hand, except for the binding. When I go to sew it on through all the layers, I just don't think I'd be able to stitch it down without getting really sore fingers and hands and stuff like that. So I think for that, I'll just sew, like, you know how you sew it onto the front with your sewing machine, then you wrap it around and hand stitch the back. That's what I'll do for that. So that'll be the only thing that I will do by machine. Alternatively, I can not have a binding and flip it out, and then it's just, but I like a binding. So I'm not going to do that. Then I could do it all by hand. But yeah, no, I'm just gonna sew that on. I'm gonna give it a go, like, at first, and see if I can get through it. If I can get through it, then I'll do it by hand, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. I just don't want to hurt my fingers and damage them, because I have got a RSI injury in my arm at the moment that's healing, so I don't want to aggravate that. But that is coming together just beautifully. Let me take my magnifiers off. Me too, you're not alone. Yeah, with whips, it's like, what the hell are you doing? Like, why are you not finishing stuff? So yeah, so this year is my year of finishing, and I'm just going to basically vlog it. So whenever I work on it, I'm just going to put the camera there. Sometimes I might talk, sometimes I might not. Sometimes I'll just set it to music and stuff like that. If you've been on my Patreon, you've seen how I do my vlogs and stuff like that. Occasionally I'll talk through what I'm doing and whatnot. But this is going to be super cute. And I'm really happy with the little fabric that I found for the border. As I said, that was in my stash. So that's also another thing that I'm doing, is trying to use up my stash as well, because I am moving from this dwelling. Not too sure when, but it'll be soon enough. And I might just take that out, because that is not going to end well. Yeah, so I don't know when I'm going to be moving from here, but if I can get my stash down a bit, that is a good thing. But don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel as well, because it's always nice to get more subscribers and whatnot. And of course, keep an eye out for our next video that is coming out. I'm not too sure when that is. I know that I'll be back next week for a live stream, so be sure to tune in again then. But that's pretty much it from me today. I'd just like to say thank you to everybody that has joined, and I will see you in the next video.